Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode in the Get Unstuck series with myself, Sarah Archer. I'm here in London, and if you're watching me live, please do say hello. Let me know where you are watching from. That's always great to know. And if you're watching on replay, which I know a lot of people do, then hello, you're very welcome too. So let me just tell you a little bit about the Get Unstuck series. So I created it to try and give you a window in your week, maybe 15 minutes or so, when you can think about your career development, your career advancement, your personal development. Because having been a senior leader, I know it's really hard to find that kind of time to do that kind of thinking. So I do these sessions every 2 weeks. They are available to watch as a recording. And I also have a podcast, Unstuck and Unstoppable, where the same topics are available in audio form. So I really hope you enjoyed the session today. A little bit about me, if you haven't met me before. I'm a career and leadership coach, and I work with women to create the kind of career success that's right for them through either finding a new role, having more impact and influence in their current role, or even thinking about changing career. So let's dive into today's topic, which is all about rethinking rest and really thinking about what high performers need in terms of rest and energy beyond just taking time off. So I'd love to know, if you are here today with me, how are you feeling right now? You know, we're halfway through the week, it's Wednesday. Are you feeling already that you've run a marathon, that you're exhausted, that you're feeling very drained, that you can't wait for the weekend or even just the end of the day to come? Or are you feeling quite up and energized? You know, where are you on that sort of scale? So if we're thinking about it on a kind of 1 to 10 scale, 10 being very energized, 1 being exhausted, where are you now? So either just think that to yourself or pop it into the chat if you're comfortable and let me know kind of roughly where you are. I would say I'm about a 7, maybe even an 8, because I've had a great week where I've been able to do a lot of planning, a lot of creative work, had some really great client conversations. So I'm feeling quite good. Plus I'm going to a spa tomorrow for the day. So that's definitely kind of giving me a boost as well. But, you know, where are you in terms of that scale? And I'm just going to say a quick hello to Denise. Hello, Denise. Lovely to have you on the call. So yeah, let me know where you are on that kind of 1 to 10 scale in terms of your energy. Because, you know, if you're doing everything, but you're feeling exhausted, it could be that you are under rested, and that's what we're going to explore today, because rest isn't just sleep. You know, if you're leading, if you're performing, if you're holding everything together, it might be that you haven't had enough rest in ways that you haven't perhaps considered before. And we're going to look at 7 different types of rest today. Now, most people, when they're feeling exhausted, they either do one of 3 things. They kind of push through and just think, right, I've just got to keep it together till the end of the day. Or they scroll and look for something kind of mindless to engage in. Or they kind of collapse at the end of the day, maybe resort to kind of a glass of wine, just mind-numbing TV, just kind of feeling like they've just got no capacity for anything else. And actually, that isn't rest, because it doesn't restore your energy in any way, really. And, you know, if you are a high performer, you're brilliant at output and delivery, but maybe what you haven't been taught is actually how to have recovery, proper recovery. And that's something we do have to prioritize, because life is busy. It's not just work is busy, life is busy. So we want to be able to think about how we can build rest and recovery into our day, rather than just feeling like we've got to get to the end of it and then we'll get some sleep and that will help, because that isn't enough. Okay, Denise is an 8. You went to bed earlier. That's brilliant. Great to hear that you're also an 8, Denise, as well. But if you are feeling tired, just let me know, what is your kind of default? What do you tend to do? Do you tend to push through? Do you resort to kind of scrolling on your phone and looking at kind of TikTok or Instagram or whatever it might be? Do you just kind of switch off, watch some mindless TV? What's your kind of go-to when you're just feeling really, really tired? Just let me know in the comments if you're comfortable to do that. And I'm going to now talk you through these 7 types of rest. Now, I don't want to overload you. I don't want to give you more things on your to-do list because that's not helpful. So I'm going to share one idea that is quite simple that you could build into your day easily. But if you want more ideas, because there are obviously lots of different ideas in these different categories, but I didn't want it to sound like a shopping list of a live, just message me. And I can send you a little freebie list of ideas under each of the categories that you can do. So you can either message me in the comments, or you can message me directly, send me a DM, and I will send you this list of ideas. So let's talk through the different types of rest that are really important, and you can notice which ones maybe apply to you more and think about what you might do differently. So the first one is mental rest. And that's if your brain feels that it's full all the time, that it never stops working, that it's whirring away all the time, then this is for you. Because what you're doing is your brain is getting more input and it actually needs less. And so what you can try in that case is just take 2 minutes. All you need is 2 minutes and just write everything down that's going on in your head, and then close the notebook. Because just being able to get it out of your cognitive processing onto paper can just be really helpful at letting your brain kind of relax a bit and think, okay, I don't need to keep rethinking all of those thoughts. So you can just take 2 minutes, write everything down, close the notebook. So that's one thing you can try for mental rest. The second type of rest we're going to think about is physical rest. Now, this isn't about exercise, and obviously exercise is important. A lot of people find that exercise gives them energy, but this is about micro recovery during the day. Because if you've got back-to-back Zoom meetings, team meetings, Google Meet meetings, then your body is under stress all day, because in those meetings you're holding yourself, aren't you? You know, you can feel it in your shoulders, in your stomach. You're holding yourself in those meetings, or even physical meetings if you're not actually working remotely. So what you can think about doing, something very simple, is just standing and stretching in between each of those meetings. And what that will do is just help reset your system and change your energy. So rather than just going straight into that next meeting, you're just going to stand and just stretch in whatever way you feel is going to be helpful to you. And it can just help reset your physicality. Our third type of rest is emotional rest. Now, this is an invisible load, and particularly for female leaders. You know, you're managing everyone else's emotions. You know, maybe you've got your team who are having a stressful day and they're coming to you to offload. Maybe your boss is feeling stressed and they're coming to you to offload. Or they're in a bad mood and they're kind of letting that emotion come out to everybody that they're coming into contact with. Or you've got a client who's feeling frustrated or angry even, and that emotion is coming at you. And you are not even able to kind of process your own emotion. You're just kind of absorbing everybody else's emotion. And so what simple thing you can do here, just to kind of, again, reset your nervous system, is just to actually articulate what you are feeling. And there's research that shows this by actually saying, ideally out loud, how you are feeling. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling alone. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling angry, can just help you reset your nervous system. Now, sometimes people feel it hard to name emotions. You know, it's not something that we do on a regular basis. And there's a wonderful wheel of emotions which has all the different types of emotions, positive and negative, identified, and it can just be a helpful visual to help you think, okay, what am I feeling right now? And if you want that wheel of emotions, again, just message me and I will send you a link to the wheel. So let's just do a quick check-in. Which one of those three, we've got 7 to talk through, is already hitting a nerve for you? Which one are you kind of thinking, no, I'm not building into my day in terms of that kind of rest? So again, if you're here live, just maybe let me know which of those three, mental, physical, emotional, is striking a chord with you. Let's move on to number 4, which is social rest, because you are probably interacting throughout the day as well. And, some interactions, even if they're positive, can be quite draining. If you're having to listen a lot in the interaction, or you're required to speak a lot and provide solutions, provide information, then that can actually take its toll on you, particularly if you're on the introvert scale. But even if you're an extrovert, that constant interaction can take its toll socially. And so sometimes you need to build in either an interaction which is not about work. It's maybe just meeting up with your favorite person for lunch, for a coffee, where you're just talking about something that's not work. So it could be something you've watched on TV. It could be, I don't know, anything that makes you feel positive and you're not having to perform or be on in that particular interaction. Or it might be about stepping away and having lunch away from your desk, going outside, just having some time for yourself to give yourself a rest from that social activity. Then our 5th type of rest is sensory rest. Now, open plan offices are great in some respects, but also very bad in terms of sensory stimulation, because you've got constant noise, you've got lots of screens, lots of activity. You've also got your phone, constant notifications, or even Slack, Teams, whatever it is, going off all the time. And that constant notification and constant kind of activity creates quite a lot of sensory stress. Depending also on your kind of sensitivity to it. For some people, it will be more stressful. And even, if you're not in an open plan office, if you're working from home, you've got those constant notifications going off, constant sensory stimulation. And so your system never gets a break from it. So one thing you can try here is just every hour for 20 seconds, you can just set a timer on this, is just closing your eyes. Just closing your eyes and just having nothing kind of stimulating you. You might even plug into white noise at the same time if you're kind of quite an auditory processor. But just thinking about building that in can just help your body, your nervous system, to calm down from all that intensity. Then we've got creative rest, number 6. So if your work is mentally demanding, and if you're a leader of any kind, this is going to be you, decision making, being strategic, problem solving, solution focused, it's very demanding, and your brain needs new input to help you, because you are giving out, you're coming up with solutions, you're coming up with ideas, you're coming up with a strategy, you're solving a problem, you're making a decision. And so having new input can give you that creative rest. So that might be about playing some new music, a different genre. It might be about change of scene, having a different environment. It might be about taking a different route home, or just changing up something that gives you something new to feed your creativity, because you're giving so much. And then our final one is spiritual rest. And that's about meaning. And this is the one that's often the most neglected, because if your work feels disconnected, no amount of sleep is going to fix that. This is it is about important to connect with what is meaningful for you. And so that could just be simply asking yourself, what matters to you today? And connecting with one of your values, thinking about what value do I want to honor today, and focusing on it. And that can be a form of spiritual rest. And I've got a bit of a funny example to share with you today. So this morning I had to go out in my car and do an errand, and I was feeling quite grumpy. And I often get triggered in my car by bad drivers, people not saying thank you. It makes me feel really angry. And so today I thought, right, I really need to connect with my compassion value. I wanted to be compassionate as a driver. And so on my journey, I let other drivers in front of me. I stopped to let somebody cross where there wasn't a crossing. I took my time parking and didn't get stressed by other people in the parking spaces. And it was just a much better experience for me. And I felt so much more energized when I returned from that journey than my normal, when I'm feeling stressed about driving. So just thinking about how you can connect with your value can provide that kind of spiritual rest for you. So that's our 7 types of rest. So mental, physical, emotional, social, sensory, creative, and spiritual. And I think what's the most important thing for you to think about today is that rest isn't a reward that you get after you've pushed through. It is about maintenance. Because if you're leading, if you're influencing, if you're making decisions, your energy is part of your job and it impacts the people around you, including people at home as well. So it's important to think about rest as an important part of your day and thinking of it as maintenance for you. And I was working with a client earlier in the year who had just taken, she'd got a promotion in her existing company to quite a big job. And she said to me that she found that she was putting all her energy into work and being on at work. And when she got home, she had no energy left for her family, for socializing, and it was beginning to take its toll and have an impact. And so we worked on some of those 7 types of rest so that she could build them into her working day so she wasn't completely depleted by the time she got home and was with her family. So this is, again, not about trying to do everything. It's noticing the one thing out of those 7 that you need to focus on, not focusing on all 7, but just really identifying the one that's going to make the most difference for you. So if you're listening now, pop one of those numbers, or if you can't remember which number it was, just which one it was you think is the most important for you to focus on, because it does make a difference. Everything becomes easier when you fix how you rest and how you recover. So I'm hoping you're going to take something away from today to put into action. One of those very simple things. Remember, you can message me if you want more ideas. I didn't want to overload you today. So if you want more ideas, just message me and I'll send you more fuller ideas for each of those areas. And again, message me if you want a link to the emotions wheel as well, if you want to be able to articulate your emotions more effectively. And I will see you back here in 2 weeks' time for another live session in the Get Unstuck series. I wish you a very restful rest of the week, and I'll see you in 2 weeks' time.